What about that is confusing?
We're not trying to deny anything. We have for them. I know you're trying to help Trump, who is struggling right now.
Facts matter, you said.
No,
Facts matter.
You said you all are saying that she's the border czar, and I have ears, and I heard that, and she is not the border czar.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response, and today, folks, we are bringing you another debate like we always do on Saturdays, and the name of the game today is denial of reality. That is right. That is what the Democrats are best at. They try to take reality and try to just put that to the side. Let's throw that in the closet and let's dip out our own version of reality and just say whatever we think, and we'll make people believe it's the truth because we'll just say it over and over and over and over and over again until people finally forget the reality of the situation and just say, hey, this is what actually happened, and we'll just say it. And when somebody brings up physical proof, video evidence, we'll just say, no, that's not what the name of the game is. That's not what really happened, even though we've got video evidence put in our face. We'll just deny reality, deny reality, deny reality. Oh, what about this? Deny reality. That seems to be all they can do these days when faced with actual policy issues, right? The only policy issue that they can debate on is abortion, and I don't know why. Republicans are terrible at abortion, right? We're trying to save the life of an unborn child, and they can't make any really good arguments stick, right? Because Democrats get out there, and it's all about, oh, well, you're trying to tell women what to do with their bodies, and it's like, no, we're trying to tell them what not to do with the body that is inside their belly. That's what it is. We're not trying to tell them what to do at all, because they've had several chances before that to stop a pregnancy from happening. There's all kind of contraceptives out there to prevent pregnancy. You know, there's several. But once again, they'll deny reality with abortion. But that's not what we're talking about today. Let's go ahead and get into the debate before I rant on forever. Let's roll.
Yeah, I mean, Wajahat, there's no doubt she was put in charge of solving the border crisis. We've just heard it from Biden's own voice. Why are people on the left trying to deny that?
We're not trying to deny anything. We have a prosecutor against a predator, and now the oldest person to ever run for president, Donald Trump, who, by the way, did not do a 180 after surviving the assassination attempt. He did a 360. He's exactly the same person he was. You're talking about Axios. Axios referred to her as the border czar, and then Axios later corrected itself yesterday. Look, if I'm the Democrats, I'd run on the border compared to Trump, sure. You know why? Because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris proposed one of the strictest immigration reform bills, that they had the bipartisan unity with conservatives. And guess who tanked it? Donald Trump. Republicans said that Donald Trump called them up and decided to tank this border bill, this bipartisan border bill, because he knew it would help Joe Biden. So a person who does not care about security and the border, that's Donald Trump. Also, as of today, the lowest border crossings, even lower than Donald Trump, is happening in what? The Biden-Harris administration. And talking about immigration and the border, guess who wants to deport up to 15 million people illegally? Donald Trump. He's running on it. Guess who wants to create camps? Donald Trump. So I'm perfectly fine with liberals and this growing multiracial, multicultural coalition. Like you said, Piers, there's enthusiasm, there's excitement, especially with women, with young people, with people of color against Donald Trump. And I don't think Donald Trump can stop being Donald Trump. It just took 3 days, and we saw the RNC conference, you know, the first 30 minutes of the speech. He was doing pretty well. And then he did 9,000 words off script. And he talked about Hannibal Lecter, and he mocked Nancy Pelosi with the hammer. He called her crazy. He did that post on Truth Social. He misspelled poll with poll. He called lying Kamala. And then Mike Johnson, Pierce, the leader of the House Republicans, had to tell his party to not be racist. When you're off the gate starting like that, you're on the losing tip. That's my prediction.
All right, Elizabeth, there's a lot to unpack there from Wajahat, as you'd imagine. I mean, it was a brilliantly valiant attempt at hiding the fact that Kamala Harris said to the world don't come in, and then 8 million people have probably come in.
You gotta love how this guy comes out, oh, we're not denying reality, and then he goes on to deny reality and says, oh, well, Donald Trump is the oldest person to ever run for president? What? Like, Joe Biden was just dropped out of the race, by the way, and he's 81 years old. Donald Trump is 78 years old. So, once again, like I said, they try to take reality and just go hide the reality in a closet or sweep it up underneath the bed or something like that and try to make people believe that what happened didn't really happen and what we say is the truth because we're the authorities, y'all. We're the ones that tell the truth. Republicans over here, they always lie. They're the liars. They're they're evil, y'all. Christians are bad people. It's like, come on, dude. Like, wake up for a second, right? Stop being woke and actually wake up and see reality for what it is, okay? If you're wrong, you're wrong. Admit you're wrong. But they don't do that whatsoever. Check this out.
Border czar. Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
People are going to have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris, especially in her role as border czar.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Kamala Harris, who was appointed as the border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to work on kind of the root causes of immigration.
There has been so much criticism against Kamala Harris. You know, she was the border czar.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
So the border, if they weren't planning to address it in a major way, do not make her your border czar. She met with some of the Northern Triangle countries, but nothing has effectively changed.
Now, Wajah, would you like to review your emphatic denial that ever happened?
Last time I checked, I don't think I talked about the border czar. I don't think you showed a single clip of President Biden calling her a border czar. I don't think you showed a single clip of Kamala Harris calling her a border czar.
You said it was only Axios. You said only Axios.
No, yesterday.
We have every major network in America saying one thing, and they're trying to deny it. They all called her the border czar. And the reason they all want to try and deny it now is because they realize it's incredibly damaging to Kamala Harris if it is seen by the American people that she was indeed in charge of sorting out the border problem and presided over a complete disaster. So it's actually a critical thing here, and I'm bemused why the media is trying to pretend they didn't say what they said. All of them.
Well, two things real quick. When you were talking about that one publication yesterday that flip-flopped, I gave you the name, it's Axios that flip-flopped. Yeah. And the media, like you said, which is not trusted by either... Wait. The media that is not trusted by either the liberals or Republicans said a lot of stuff, and they're the ones calling her the border czar, but Joe Biden never did. Kamala Harris never did. She was not the border czar. She had a responsibility to talk to these countries, specifically Central American countries, to see if they can engage in policy to reduce the flow of migrants. But facts matter. Right now, the lowest crossing of migrants, even lower than Trump.
Hang on. Facts do matter. So, Michael, can you, for the benefit of Wajah, who clearly wasn't listening to you earlier, can you repeat what Joe Biden said about Kamala Harris in relation to her job?
I'll add in another line, too, which I excluded earlier. Wajah, you just said that Biden never made her the border czar or put her in charge of the border. Quote, March 24th, 2021, I've asked her, the VP today, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle, and the countries that are going to need help in stemming the movement of many folks, stemming the migration to our southern border. It's not her full responsibility and job, but she's leading the effort. When she speaks for me. He imbues her with presidential authority, and then he turns to her, Madam Vice President, thank you. I gave you a tough job. Wajah, what about that is confusing?
Okay, so that's pretty much undeniable proof, but just to hammer that point home, here you go, folks.
In addition to that, there's about 5 other major things she's handling, but I've asked her the VP today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle and the countries that help. We're going to need help in stemming the movement of so many folks stemming the migration to our southern border.
Okay, so that's Joe Biden outright telling everybody, right? That wasn't just that one network that covered that, right? There were several networks that covered that. They all said it. We know they said it. Why are they trying to deny that she was the border czar, right? They're trying to play semantic games. Oh, well, she wasn't the border czar. She was just tasked with the root causes, right? Like, come on, dude. Like, why are you playing these freaking games? This makes no logical sense whatsoever. Why are you denying reality? Okay, just admit that you're wrong and let's move on. But no, instead of doing that, this is the game that they play.
Okay,
no, I can understand English. I was an English major.
Throw your hands up and admit you were wrong.
No, I know that you guys are doing the RNC's work for them. I know you're trying to help Trump, who's struggling right now.
Facts matter, you said.
No, facts matter. You said you all are saying that she's the border czar, and I have ears, and I heard that, and she is not the border czar. She literally was given that responsibility. She's not the border czar. And if you want to play on immigration, I will gladly play on immigration. Please explain to me why Donald Trump called up Republicans and told them to tank what would have been the strictest bipartisan immigration bill, in which he said would help President Biden, and Republicans bent the knee. So instead of helping security,
I don't mind you playing whataboutery, but actually it has been Joe Biden's presidency
I'm not.
for
Let's
the
just
last
have facts.
3.5 years.
Wajat, I'm happy to
when
give
it
you an
comes
answer.
to facts, Wajat, you're on slightly slippery ground today, I have to say. I want to change subject now.
Okay, so to make my point clear, got two things. Number one, Donald Trump wasn't in Congress. Donald Trump wasn't in the Senate. Donald Trump was a civilian running for president. Right? He has no say in what Congress does. He has no say in what the Senate does. He is not a congressman that can go vote or persuade people to go vote. These people are their own people, and they can do whatever the hell they want to. They can vote whatever they want to vote for, if they want to vote for that or not. But no, that is not why they didn't vote for that bipartisan, quote-unquote, bipartisan border bill, right? And I'm reluctant to even call it a border bill, because my second point is that wasn't a border security bill. They called it a border security bill, but as we discussed and proved several times on this channel, that was legalizing illegal immigration. That's what that does, up to a certain point. You know, I'm sorry. You can't get anybody who has any sort of logical outlook on having a secure border to sign on to that. As a matter of fact, some Democrats even voted against that quote-unquote border security bill. It was just utter ridiculousness. It allows, right, up to 4,999 criminal aliens to come across that border a day. What world does that make any sense to allow 5,000 migrants a day to come across your border illegally? That's legalizing illegal immigration. That is ridiculous. That is how Democrats propose to fix the border crisis. No, that is not how you fix any sort of crisis, right? If we have a murder epidemic going on and people are murdering each other left and right, you do not go about allowing X amount of murders a day to fix that crisis, right? This is what they do for everything, though. They, instead of actually counting these people as crossing the border illegally, what he was talking about as, oh, well, they got the numbers down to where it was better than Trump now. That's the Biden administration's work on the border. No, what they're doing is they're manipulating the statistics. And instead of when people come across the border illegally, checking a box and saying, hey, another one to the stack there that came across the border illegally. They're taking that person and no, that's a political asylee. So they didn't cross the border illegally, making the numbers go down, which is exactly what they're doing with crime statistics, as we've discussed several times on this channel. You know, they're saying, oh, crime is at historic lows. No, it's not. As a matter of fact, what they are doing is people aren't even reporting these crimes because the cops don't do anything about it. So why report the crime? The cops ain't even going to do nothing. The cops will show up, make a statement, and that's it. Nothing happens. They don't change the laws. They don't try to fix the crime. So these crimes don't get reported. So statistically, crime is going to go down. But crime has not actually gone down, and they love doing that. They have to do this with everything. This is the only way that Democrats can win, right? They tried to do it with vaccines by saying, oh, well, you know, the COVID vaccine, which works, by the way. You guys, talk to a doctor. I know I have to say that because of YouTube. I'm not trying to give any kind of medical advice, and the vaccine does prevent severe disease or whatever, but that's what they had to do with vaccines, right? They had to actually take it, change the definition of vaccine to make the vaccine a vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine a vaccine. That's what they had to do with that, right? Once again, the same thing with gain-of-function research. They had to definitionally change what gain-of-function research is so that Dr. Fauci didn't lie to Congress, right? But he lied to Congress because they were absolutely funding gain-of-function research. We know that. Factually, we know that. And we factually know that's what Democrats do. They love to twist the narrative. Not saying Republicans aren't bad in their own way, because they are, but specifically on this is what Democrats, they love to do. You know, you got George Soros out there funding all these DAs that are soft on crime, and they, for some reason, I don't understand this one, expect crime to go down if prosecutors don't prosecute criminals. Right? It makes no sense. You're still going to have that crime. You're just going to have more criminals on the streets because they're not getting prosecuted. But that's how they fix crime. It's utter ridiculousness coming from these people. They refuse to admit when they're wrong. They just outright refuse to admit when they're wrong. They're wrong on the border. They're wrong on a lot of policy issues, but they don't admit it. But that's the name of the game. Deny, 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 and then try to make up some story about as to why this is the way it is. And it's just utter ridiculousness coming from these people. But the name of the game, folks, is deny reality. But I think I've rambled on. I've made my point clear. Let me know what you think about all this down in the comment section. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.